What's up everybody, this is Gunter Severloh. This is version 1.6 of my new World War II APCs, tanks, and vehicles. Let's go to the editor and we're going to go to virtual reality. Alright, here we are on the mission. As you can see, there are more variants, so let's go in game. Let's go to spectator. Alright, so there are 5 new variants. These are mostly tanks. The first variant is a Jagdpanther. And this is basically a Panther with the side skirts removed and the turret removed. There's nothing else that was done to it other than just those two things. Next we have another variation of a Jagdpanther, and this is the same thing, just the skirts removed, the turret removed, but now it has added walls. The next variant is a Panzer IV Flak Vierling 38. And this has the walls and of course the other aspects to it. Next we have a Jagdpanzer IV. This was a tank hunter. And lastly we have a Jagdpanther. Alright, let's check these out in the game. Alright, let's start with the Jagdpanther. So as I said, the Jagdpanther is basically just a normal Panther with the side skirts removed and a turret removed, and that was it. Here we have the same thing except we have the added walls, and here we have Panzer IV Flak 38 Vierling, and this is called a mobile wagon. So in this one you can pretty much switch seats. If you're in the driver's seat you could from the driver's seat you can get into the Flak Vierling 38. And if you decide to get out of the gun, you'll be returned to the inside of the tank. And once you get out again, you'll be basically on the ground. Alright, the next variant is the Jagdpanzer IV. This was a tank hunter, and there were certain limitations to this. As you can see, I pretty much spent my entire Saturday working on this, trying to find the right parts and things for it. I think I got it down pretty well for this. This was a lot easier than the other one, but this was challenging to do, trying to find the right parts and pieces. It doesn't look exactly like the real thing. You can see a picture, but it's pretty good for what it is. If you notice, the gun is offset to my left, rather it's offset to the right, because the real tanks, the gun sights were basically on the driver's side of the tank. So alright, so when you get into this vehicle, you can, you know, drive it. Drives like a normal Panzer IV, and you can get into the gunner, and basically the gun is a Pak 40, as you can see at the top right. It has a limited traverse. And if you get out, you'll be returned to the inside of the tank. You could switch to driver's seat, machine gunner's seat, and that's it. I blocked the commander seat and the loader seat. So that's kind of how that works. If you Alright, here is my last build. I spent a little bit of time on this, not as much as time as this one. But I had to figure out the angles and stuff. This is the Jagdpanther. And as you notice, this was part of the update. I changed some of the names for some of the vehicles that were fitting. I'll show you after this. For this one in particular, instead of a Panther get in the gun or whatever the gun is, which happens to be a Pac 40, it's supposed to be an 88, but there is no AT gun that's an 88 other than the Flak 36, and that has the things sticking out of the sides, the stands, and I can't remove them, so I had to settle for next best. Anyways, as you scroll your action menu, you'll see that it says get in Jagdpanther as gunner, so that's kind of how I worded it. Now with this, if you look at the angle, I pretty much matched the angle of the base angle of the tank itself, which was realistic. And then the angle kind of arced up a bit. I'm not sure if this is 100% accurate, but it's pretty close. The color of it kind of throws you off, but I'm only working with parts that are in the editor, so I can only do so much. But other than that, the gun isn't accurate. It's supposed to be an 88 and a little bit longer than what it is. I did try the Flak 36, and other than having a 360-degree traverse, which the Flak 36 has, on this tank it doesn't have that traverse, so I had to settle for a Pac 40, which is still pretty powerful. Alright, so with this tank, you can get into the driver's seat, and from here you can get into the gunner. So you scroll your action menu, get into the Jagdpanther as the gunner, and once you get in the gun, your kind of view will look like this, but I set it up so that you could, look through the sights, and it's kind of like the other one. But this is basically a Panther, and when you get out of this one, you'll be returned to the machine gunner seat. And on this tank, you only have the machine gunner seat, the gunner seat up for the pack, and the driver's seat. I just locked the other ones because they didn't really have any function. I mean, I could return the loader seat that had a function, but the commander seat didn't because you can't do nothing. Alright. So it functions like a normal Panther. It has your hull machine gun and of course the Pac 40. Let's take a look at some of these updates. With this tank, I had the wording set as Jagdpanzer IV, as you can see in the action menu. And then here, this wasn't changed. Let's see, I did another one. I did the Grill 10. Here, I changed the wording on this to get in the Grill 10 artillery. And this one was the get in Grill 10 AA. Here we have I changed the wording to this in the action menu. Get in this Stu 42 as gunner. This was pretty much the update. These two tanks took a lot of time to build. This Jagdpanzer IV and a Jagdpanther took a lot of time to build because I tried to figure out how to get some things to work. Did a lot of experimenting, so I spent an entire day and a half on these two tanks alone. So, with that being said, let's go back to the editor, and I want to show you guys one more thing that's important when you place these compositions down. And it's important that when you place these down on any map that you have all this flat, otherwise some of the walls will be floating or crooked. The other thing is, take a tank, you can't just grab these tanks and just move them to where you want. Like this tank, you can't just move it. You see what happens. You can't just do that. It just doesn't work. Like this tank, you can't just do that. You can't just move it, because it won't work, because you got all these things attached to it. So the way you move these things is, this is another way that won't work either, because if you move it, all the attached items actually flip back to their default positions, which sucks. That's actually a bug in the editor. And same for this variant. Even if you highlighted the whole thing to move it all together, everything gets thrown off. All the pieces get reverted back to their original position that you get them in the editor. So what you have to do is basically just highlight the tank like normal, and you'll have to use the coordinates, the translation widget, rotation widget. So basically you have to switch it till you get the arrows here, like you see. And if you can move it somewhere, so you have the green arrow that moves the tank back and forth, the red arrow that moves it from side to side, and the blue arrow moves it up and down. Alright, so just another thing is to have your settings here. I know the thing is, these aren't real models that were created. They're compositions. They're basically parts, attached to other parts. Well, the reason why everything gets returned to the way it was, because this is how you find these pieces in the editor, in the listing, is it's actually a bug. I actually found out it was a bug. Whatever you move, like say you move this and you adjusted the object whatever position you want, ideally it's supposed to stay in that position and not snap back to its original position where you got it from in the in the props section. Like here's all the parts. You place a part, let's say you placed this part and then you changed the angle of it. Alright, so as soon as you move it, it snaps back to its original position. So just understand that if you want to change it, let's say we did change it. If you change it and you decide to move it, then basically you have to change the arrows so that it's doing that. You can move it that way. Alright, that's it for the update. I hope you guys enjoy this update and some of the changes, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.